All right, so this is a video I promised that I was going to upload a few months ago or so, but never did. I actually did film it, but I didn't like how it came out, so I never uploaded it. So I'm just filming it again now. But I'm also doing this to level the playing field because this is my backstory. And anyone who has questions after watching this video can leave them in the comments down below and I'll answer them in the next video, or they can make community posts on their channels and tag me. I'll read them and answer them because I'm trying to be a good sport and show Marshall that it's not that hard to answer these questions. All you got to do is go to all of our YouTube channels, go to the community posts, write down all of the questions on a piece of paper, go out to the woods, read them off, and answer them. And that's it. You don't have to worry about your dad finding out about all the weird stuff you've done on the internet. It's super easy, Marshall, and there's no reason you should be kicking and screaming about it like this. And that's why I'm leveling the playing field, and I'm showing you how easy it is. People can ask me questions about what I'm about to share, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. It doesn't have to be this hard. So for the majority of the time that I was in school, from preschool all the way through to the first semester of sophomore year, I went to private Christian schools. And it was when I was in first grade, I met my oldest friend, who we'll call Wayne. And me and Wayne, we got along good. We've been good friends. We're still friends to this day. But Wayne was the type of guy who he had like a crush on like practically every girl in the school. And every time a girl found out that Wayne liked them, they were like disgusted, repulsed. They wanted nothing to do with him. He got so harshly rejected by everyone. And I was, thinking to myself even back then, like, damn, I don't want that to happen to me too. I don't want that to be me, because I saw firsthand how upset and humiliated he was that each and every girl he had a crush on was turning him down. And I was thinking, since I'm associated with him, the same thing's going to happen to me, so why even bother trying? So I never did. I never, expressed to anyone that I had any of these little innocent schoolyard crushes. And that continued on as I got older. So this was pretty much a non-issue up until about middle school. Because, obviously in middle school, that's when everyone starts coming of age. That's when interest in dating pretty much starts, is about that time. And it was around this time when I had, this one girl in particular that I'll call Ashley, who always was trying to talk to me, sit next to me, all this stuff. And I was just acting very, avoidant because, I still had it in my mind that what happened to Wayne was going to happen to me. And what happened to Wayne really much shattered my confidence before it could even develop. So I was just acting very, avoidant, distant towards Ashley because I had it in my mind that it was inevitable that what happened to Wayne was going to happen to me, and I didn't want to suffer the same thing. So eventually, like, it gets worse, but at that time, I think it kind of just got brushed off as, he's just shy, he'll grow out of this. There's still plenty of time. He's just only in middle school. So it wasn't that big of a deal to other people back then in middle school. And also this private Christian school, it gave like no sex ed. Like there was no sexual education whatsoever. All they did in that regard was just preach abstinence constantly. Abstinence, abstinence, abstinence. Don't worry about sex. Don't worry about how sex works or any of that, because you're not going to be having it until you're married anyway. Which, see, that's one difference too between me and Marshall, is that I went through religious Christian school from, preschool all the way through 10th grade. And not once throughout that whole time, since I learned about sex as I got older, did I buy into the notion that you need to wait until you're married to have sex. I always disagreed with that. And I still remember back when I was around that age, my mom telling like me and my younger sibling that she personally doesn't even believe that. She says like, I know the school's telling you that, but it's kind of bogus. I don't think that you should have to wait until marriage, and don't like buy into that. So even my mom, who sent me and my younger sibling to this school, was even telling us not to buy into the wait till marriage thing. Marshall might buy into it. Marshall might, be all psychotic over, oh, I need a girl who is waiting till marriage too. I hate any girl who had sex outside of marriage. But, me from the start, I never bought into that. I never was like, oh, I'm going to wait till marriage and I want to find a girl who's going to wait till marriage. It was never like that for me. Also, all the abstinence stuff they tried to indoctrinate us with in the school, it pretty much just went in one ear and out the other for me. So in middle school, I also started to develop more of a rebellious attitude towards all of the religious bullshit that they were forcing down our throats, to where I started hanging out more with a group that I'd known for years, since they'd already been at the school for years, but they were more rebellious against the whole religious bullshit too, and they didn't buy into it either. So I had that in common with them, and I started hanging out with them more. I'll call them Derek and Carter, because those are the two main ones. There were others, but those were the two main ones. And we were kind of known as like the rebel group, and we got in trouble the most and stuff like that. And they say, oh, girls like the bad boy. So if anything, that got me like a little more attention from Ashley, especially as me and Ashley were both approaching dating age, and I was still acting the same way. I would try to avoid talking to her, trying to shut her down and all that stuff, because my confidence was still bruised from what I witnessed with Wayne. And it didn't cause as many issues yet because we were still in middle school. It starts to cause more issues though when I get to high school. So when freshman year started back in 2008, it was most of the same people I went to middle school and elementary school with went on to the high school, because the same Christian school we went to, they operated a high school too. So most people just went on to the high school. Not everyone, but most people did. And then we also had a lot of new people join too, who we didn't go to the elementary or middle school with. So it was most of the people I've been going to school with for years mixed in with some new people. And that includes Carter and Derek. And Carter and Derek, the summer before, they started dating, and they did very well right off the bat. They can get girls' numbers no problem, and they got girlfriends very easily. And sadly, that didn't rub off on me. I still felt my confidence was bruised. I was hoping that it would get better, but what happened next made it worse. Is like the first new friend I made at one of the first new friends I made at the high school, who I didn't go to the middle and elementary school with. I'll call him Nolan. And Nolan, he was a little weird. I mean, I just wanted to make friends with everyone. I just wanted to, meet as many new people as I could, branch out. So I I started hanging out with Nolan a little bit. And Nolan fell like head over heels in love with Ashley. Like, he was like pretty much obsessive over Ashley. He was like, almost reminds me of like what Marshall's like towards that Elizabeth Lail actress. All he would talk about is Ashley. I went over to spend the night at his house one time, and we stayed up playing video games, and then during that whole time, after we were playing video games, getting ready to go to bed, for like at least an hour, he would not shut up about Ashley. And eventually, Ashley found out, and she actually came over to me and asked me, hey, does Nolan like me? And I said, yeah, he does. You're like all he talks about. And she says, oh, well, I only like him as a friend. And then that was pretty much it. I didn't think much of it. And eventually, I kind of distanced myself from Nolan a little bit because he was getting a bad reputation at the school. Everyone was starting to think he was a real, like, weirdo. I mean, I'm sure it's kind of like the same type of reputation Marshall was getting, especially because Marshall went and told guys at his school about his fetishes. And then a lot of people at his school started making fun of him because of his fetishes. So, I thought, you know what, it's maybe, like, this guy's getting weird. I'm just not going to really hang out with him anymore. So I kind of distanced myself from him and, just stuck with Carter and Derek. And it was the second semester of freshman year that pretty much the whole thing with Ashley falls apart. So still throughout freshman year, Ashley was still trying to talk to me, get me to talk to her and all this stuff. And I was still acting super avoidant, still shutting her down. And what happened with Nolan was almost like salt in the wound to me, because it like destroyed my confidence even more, took it down a peg again, because, I was hanging out with Nolan. He's like the first new friend I've made at the high school. And Nolan just got harshly rejected too. And I like overheard Ashley one day, because I was sitting behind her in class, say to her friends, like, oh yeah, I don't want anything to do with him. I don't even really want to be friends with him. I wouldn't even go to a dance with him as a friend. I was like, all right, so now who's to say that's not going to happen to me? And it got to the point too where, I had no confidence to meet any of the girls at my school. So it really got to the point where I didn't talk to any of them because I didn't know any of them, and I didn't have the confidence to go and do that anyway. And then none of them talked to me because they didn't know me, and any attempts they made to try and get to know me were pretty much shot down and fell flat. But eventually during gym class, I worked up the courage to go and talk to Ashley, and I was talking to her, and we kind of mended things a little bit. I apologized for being so avoidant and acting the way I did and everything. She said, well, yeah, that really did hurt my feelings, but I'm glad you said sorry and all this. And then she actually invited me to a party at her house. And yes, I did go. And this is when I really started feeling like a fucking moron. And I didn't realize the chance I had at the time, and I didn't realize it until sometime afterwards. Because, like, I told my mom, oh, yeah, Ashley invited me to a party at her house, and it's like this weekend or something. And my mom was like, oh, she did? And I was like, she really likes you. She's afraid that you don't like her, but she really likes you. And I honestly felt like really likes you at the time, because I didn't know anything, of course. I thought it meant really likes you as a friend, like it's just platonic. And my mom knew this because my mom knew Ashley's mom. So I honestly did think that, like, oh, she just really likes me as a friend. And because I had it in my head, oh, no girl is ever going to like me. That's never going to happen. Don't even get that in your head. It's not going to happen. So I did go to the party, and Derek was there. Carter wasn't, but Derek was. And I pretty much just stuck with Derek the whole time and just hung out with Derek. I didn't really socialize with anyone else other than Derek. Not even Ashley herself at her own party. And she tried to join the conversation with me and Derek at one point. But, as an idiot that I was, I didn't try and bring her into the conversation. Or if anything, what I should have done in that situation, which I would have done now if I had known, was, separate from Derek, go off just me and her, and talk to her one-on-one. And if any of you are wondering, yes, I would have given Ashley a chance if I would have known. I would have taken her out on an actual date. I just didn't know because I was a fucking oblivious moron. It's that plain and simple. And you know what was weird too is that um, Derek and Carter really didn't like Ashley that much. They always talked shit about her when she wasn't around. And like, part of me did wonder if we did get together, how that would have gone, because my friends didn't like her. But I still would have given her a chance, you know. I still felt like, you know, she was someone I would have taken out on a date. But I was a fucking idiot and didn't realize I had a chance when I did. So pretty much after the party, and I pretty much ignored her at her own party like that. I didn't even say goodbye to her as I left. I didn't even say goodbye. I just left with Derek. And that's when she pretty much wrote me off. That's when she completely moved on, was not giving me any signals ever again. She completely wrote me off after that. So sophomore year was about to start, and Carter's girlfriend, who he had since freshman year, was going to be joining the school sophomore year. And Derek had a new girlfriend, and pretty much Derek's brother would sit with us at lunch, and his friend too would also sit with us at lunch. They're upperclassmen, and pretty much I was going to be the odd man out. I was going to be the only one who didn't have a girlfriend, and I started feeling bad at the time, like I'm like the odd man out here. I'm the only one who doesn't. And I even asked Derek, because I saw Derek over the summer, like, do you think it's bad that I haven't had a girlfriend yet? And he said no, but his attitude changes on that, as you'll see later on. But anyway, I still kept with the same behavior in sophomore year, where I didn't try and talk to any girls. None of them tried to talk to me in return. And along with Carter's girlfriend, one of her friends joined the school too, who I'll call Karina. And I started to develop an interest in Karina, but I didn't know what to do or say. I didn't have any guidance or anything about how to date, how to, you know, pick up girls, none of that. So this school had this thing where every year in the beginning of the school year, they took us on like a weekend camping trip, a Bible camping trip. And they like hired like shuttle buses and everything to take us up to where we're going to be camping. And I was lucky enough to be seated next to Karina on the bus. And I remember the guy sitting behind me on the seat, he said, "Oh, dude, make a move. She's cute." And I remember whispering to him, like, "Dude, I don't know how," which was true. I didn't know how. So, I mean, I just tried to wing it as the best I could. And at the time I had, like, you know, this was before like the iPhone was really the big thing and everyone had the iPhone. I had the LG Dare at the time. And I managed to make some small talk with her because my LG Dare had this feature on it where you can like scribble on pictures and edit them, like you can do on iPhones now, and on Androids too, where you could scribble on pictures and edit them. That was like a new thing back then. And I had some like funny pictures of Carter and Derek on my phone, and we were kind of like doodling on them, and it was like a good little like icebreaker thing. It made it less awkward. And I opened my wallet, and I had a lighter in my wallet. It's like, "Oh, why do you have a lighter?" And I said, "Oh, I brought fireworks with me up to camp. We're gonna light them off because at this camp, a big thing was to do pranks in the middle of the night. Like the year before, freshman year at camp, our cabin got like broken into by upperclassmen. They like stormed in, they ransacked the whole place, and then like right afterwards, they snuck and opened the window, and they threw pickled pig's feet through our window. So it was like the in thing to do like pranks at the middle of the night at this camp. So it's like, "Oh shit, I have some fireworks. I'm gonna bring some fireworks. We're gonna light those off." And she actually thought that was cool that I was going to do that. So I started feeling a little better, but, you know, it's short-lived, as you'll see. So also what happened at that camp trip was that Derek broke up with his girlfriend, and very shortly after he became interested in Karina. And when that happened, you know, I kind of took a step back. I was like, you know, Derek has a lot more game than me. He's already had a couple girlfriends. I don't stand much of a chance against him. So I kind of took a step back, I guess, to my own peril. And then, like, at this time, too, after that happened, that's when people really started to point out, like, you know, it's weird that he never even tries to talk to girls. It's like he just talks to other guys. What the fuck is with that? And so, like, I actually got asked by, like, one guy at the school who started that year. He's like, hey, like, bro, you gay? And I was like, no, I'm not. And, like, he started talking shit to me about being gay. But I got back at him because I started spreading a rumor around the school that he likes getting facials from all the whole, like, football team. And he, like, never bothered me after that. But anyway, that was kind of the start of it. And even Derek and Carter were starting to notice. And I had a feeling that it was going to start to happen with me too, because I went to, like, a Halloween event with Carter and Carter and one of our other friends. And Carter was drawing on a picture of Nolan that I had on my phone, because I was taking, like, these candid pictures with my phone because I wanted to, you know, use the doodle feature and make all these funny pictures of people. So I had a candid one of Nolan, and he drew on it, and he drew, like, oh, I heart boys. And he said, oh yeah, I drew that because he never talks to any girls. And I was like thinking, oh shit, what could he be saying about me behind my back? Because I never do either. But I remember one day in class, Derek asked me point blank, like, are you afraid of girls? And I said, no. And he turned to another guy who was sitting on the other side of him, and he's like, yeah, he's afraid of girls. So it was around sophomore year when it started getting worse. And so at my second high school, you know, I was trying to fall in with the group because I was, like, the new kid who started in the middle of the year. And I didn't know where I was going to, you know, fit in or anything. And I was worried that, you know, what if I, you know, don't really make friends with anyone? So I was wanting to make friends with whoever I could. And one of the first friends I made, you know, Jared, I made friends with him on my first day there. And Jared later learned kind of didn't have a good reputation there. And other kids I met my first week there were telling me to stay away from Jared. And the main reason why is because Jared added everybody on the school on Facebook before he started there his first day. And everyone found that to be really weird because they had not met the guy in person yet. And if you're wondering how he did this school had, like, a digital directory on their website of all of the students. So he went to our grade, and he went down the list before meeting any of these people in person, before his first day of school, went down the list on the school's website, copied and pasted every name for our grade, and added each and every one of them on Facebook. And everyone thought that was really weird because they had not met the guy in person yet. And then also, Jared got caught actually stalking one of the other girls at school. So, I mean, I kind of hung out with Jared here and there. I was still kind of, like, on good terms with them, but I was like, yeah, maybe people are right. Maybe I should look to make friends with other people.